So, welcome to Freedom House again. We yesterday witnessed a very important event in our country, local government elections. And I think we should be proud of ourselves, and we should thank the Guyana Elections Commission for doing a good job in the conduct of the polls. So far, and during the course of yesterday, we saw some minor difficulties that, with the help of some officials of GCOM who were diligent, those issues were resolved. It was not that there weren't instances of misunderstanding and not following the procedures that were laid down by the Chief Elections Officer. However, when those were brought to the attention of the officials and the ROs, in most cases, those were resolved. And therefore, our assessment of the conduct of the poll is that it was well organized and it was done completed without major incidents. I wish today to thank the supporters of the People's Progressive Party for delivering once again a massive and historic victory for the party. Supporters from all over Guyana, from Essequibo, from Berbice, from Region 3, Region 4, from Region 5, Region 1, from Georgetown, New Amsterdam, Linden, Kwakwani, almost every part of this country. We have seen either an overwhelming victory for the party or massive gains in places where we traditionally were not strong. And so it is only because of those who supported this party that victory was possible. So today I wish to thank all of them. I want to thank the candidates in particular for contesting these elections on behalf of the party. I want to congratulate many of them who have done so well, and I hope that in the performance of their duties as councillors in these local government bodies, that they live up to the ideal of the party and the clear message that we sent to them when they chose to be a part of our platform. That is a commitment to the people of our country, all the people of our country, regardless of their race and religion, and being faithful to the developmental objectives of and aspirations of the people in the communities in which they're going to serve. So I want to thank the candidates and all the backers, the 26,000 backers who made their candidacy possible. I wish to thank also the workers. People do not know about, sometimes they're behind the scenes, but for every polling place, you almost have an army of people working with them, from people who deliver food to the polling agents, providing transportation to take elderly to vote, the street captains who mobilize people to come out to vote, those who tabulate the vote, a number of others. There are large numbers of people who work on these important logistics. And without them too, the victory that we have would not have been possible. So I wish to thank them. And there are many leaders who, ministers, members of parliament, and other leaders, the candidates themselves, who waged a vigorous campaign and often had to give inordinate amount of time, both to their official duties and also to campaigning and assisting in organizing the campaign. And so it's a large number of people who worked very hard to bring about this massive victory. I was so pleased with the campaign. It's a memorable campaign, and it was characterized by a lot of hard work, enthusiasm, energy, liveliness. It was all positive. It was on message. That was how, if anyone looks at our campaign throughout the country, almost in every instance, you saw a great deal of energy and vigor, and people who stayed away from the dungeons of rumor and everything else, and racism, and raised our campaign to a lofty level, trying a campaign of bringing people together across races and staying on message of development in every community. That would be wherever the campaign meetings were held, whether in Berbice or Essequibo or Linden or here in Georgetown. It was all positive. It was not the vile sort of campaign that we've come to associate with the PNC and APNU. And for that reason, it's memorable, and also we're proud of it, extremely proud of the campaign and all of those who waged that campaign. I want to say a special thank you today, apart from the traditional supporters, to those who came across, who were formerly APNU leaders or supporters, many for decades, and some of them for all their lives, who voted for APNU. And they came across, they accepted our invitation to come into our lives, meaning the life of the People's Progressive Party. They're now part of our family. I want to say to them, today they're now part of this family. Those who have come across, the leaders, those who have voted for us, supported us, worked for us, who were formerly part of another party, they have been accepted wholeheartedly into this PPP family. They're our family now. And we appreciate every bit of their support, and we appreciate the chance they took, because it was not easy having heard so many bad things, rumors about us. Many of them must have been tentative, but I'm sure they gave a great thought to this issue. And today, they will find the warmth of the PPP family having come to us. I said a special thank you to them because I'm very much aware of the kind of personal vilification that they have had to endure from the leaders of APNU and many of their vile local leaders and activists. The abuse, the lies, the racism of them that they had to face. And it must have been particularly hard for them. And that's why today I wanted to thank them. And many, this campaign, as I said before, would set the kernel for, it is the beginning of something that is very important for us, that is building a united Guyana. And I want all of those who work, our supporters, the traditional supporters, Indo-Guyanese, the Amerindians, mixed people, but also a lot of Afro-Guyanese who've come to us, that I want them to know that they are leading the way in forging this united Guyana. And that by their example, we destroy the Kool-Aid Party, which is the APNU, the Kool-Aid Party. You have heard from last night to now lots of lies, as is typical of APNU. They rushed even before the results were in, and they started making declarations about how they won massively in the country, and they took every seat in New Amsterdam. They took all the seats in New Amsterdam. They won in Bartica. They won in Mahdia. These were claims that they made last night. You felt that they won in every constituency in Georgetown. And this is typical of them. That's why I say the Kool-Aid Party. And you have to be a special breed to believe, to continue to believe in these lies. Because it's not once or twice or 3 times that they've told this. They have a particular pattern. Every single time there is a major event and an election period, they come out and blatantly lie. They claim victory even before the results have even been, the numbers have been tallied. They start claiming victory. And then when the numbers come out, official numbers that prove them wrong, they're hoping that the first impression that they created, which is one of victory, that would be the lasting impression. And the same people they have fed the Kool-Aid to, who continue to believe them, will then even use those results, the initial results that are false, to offset. They never pay attention to the official results subsequently. And so last night, they were at it again. At it again. And so today I notice they blame the PPP. They said there's a blackout, so they can't live stream. They have a press conference, and I would be interested in hearing what they have to say. But they've stopped the live stream, claiming there was a blackout. Well, the only blackout is the results that they got from across the country, that I will talk about in a minute. So, GCOM will declare all the areas soon. We're hoping over the course of the next day or two. And you will see for yourselves the official results. But from our preliminary assessment, the PPP will win outright about 62 of the 80 in local government areas. 4 others would be tied in terms of the number of seats, but we have the majority of the most votes in these areas. So we have a majority of the votes cast, and therefore if the seats are tied, the convention has been that those areas that have the majority of the roll, they get the chairmanship. This is what happened in places like Plaisance, etc. in 2016. Vulcan and the others gave it those who had the majority of the votes. So we expect to chair about 66 of the 80 constituencies, the LAAs across the country. APNU, we believe, would win about 14 across the whole country, down from about 23 in 2018. So they've lost at least 9 of those areas outright. Now, this is clearly a wipeout. Of 80 areas, the PPP would have won the majority of the votes in 66 of 80. That's a definition of a massive victory. That is how you define landslide. Not by winning a constituency in Georgetown that you've won historically for 60 years, or Linden. That is how they're defining their victory. The victory is, a landslide is the total number of areas contested and the party that won the most of these areas. And we won 66 areas of the 80 from our initial results so far. So let us go through a few places. So let's start in the areas, the towns. Right now, there are 10 towns in Guyana, and we have won the majority of the votes in 7 of the 10 towns. 7 of the 10 towns in Guyana. Mabaruma, Anna Regina, Rose Hall, Corriverton, Lethem, Bartica, we won the majority, we won the PR votes by over 100 more than APNU, and Madia. We won the majority of the votes there too. So that's the definition of a wipeout. That's the definition of a landslide. Now, I will take you through how we won in some of these areas. So then you can see the gains made by the People's Progressive Party in all of these areas. I'll just tell you, like, this was expected, Corriverton. So we won all the constituencies, but I told you at a press conference before that APNU will win 1 because one of the candidates for constituency unfortunately passed away. And you cannot replace the candidate before the election, so APNU will win in that area. But really they didn't win the area because although the guy passed away, he got 333 votes and the APNU candidate got 116. people still voted for him to prove a point that they didn't want the APNU man in the area. They voted to prove a point. So you couldn't even, a living APNU person, the people rejected him in favor of a candidate who had passed away because they didn't want APNU and its negative policies to touch their community. This should be shameful. This is a shameful thing. It's a shameful thing. And that's why I thought, in that case, since I'd given them already the thing and said, you won the constituency because the guy passed away. But the people didn't want that. They didn't want him. They chose to vote for someone who had passed away instead of this guy because he's negative. They don't want him in their community with their negative policies there. So that is in Corriverton. In New Amsterdam, last night they claimed they won all of the constituencies in New Amsterdam. They wiped out the PPP totally. The fact is that the PPP won 3 constituencies, and APNU won 4 in New Amsterdam. Now this is a stronghold of the PNC. In 2018, APNU had 11 seats. The PPP had 3 seats in that area. In 2023, APNU will reduce to 8 seats, and the PPP will have 6 seats in New Amsterdam now. Almost neck and neck in New Amsterdam. That is, and I give credit to the people in New Amsterdam, those leaders, many of them are from APNU, who took a chance and came to the PPP, and they waged a really, really good campaign, a positive campaign. And those people will continue to lead in that town because in them I saw a desire, a quest for development. And I want to thank them today, all of the leaders, from Barbara Pilgrim to all of the others, who were vilified. Mr. Norton said she prostituted herself and all sorts of things. Vilified personally. I can call all of the names, but at some other time I'll do so. To thank them for the campaign they waged and for this result that we got. So, how many votes did we get in New Amsterdam? In 2018, we had 470 votes. In these elections, we have 1,784 votes. That is the difference. So our votes have increased significantly. No, that's not true. We had a small number, 764. It went up by, we got at 1,314 votes more than in 2018, which is a 270% increase over 2018. So our votes have increased significantly from that period. That is in New Amsterdam. Our votes have increased by 270% to The change now is 1,314 votes more than in 2018. That's not a small number. To increase your votes in a community where you've had the total number of voters, APNU got 1,913, we got 1,144, a differential of 769 votes. So, and we've moved up from significantly by 270%. So that is the fact in New Amsterdam. Over 1,300 persons more voted for the PPP in that community. We have 6 seats now, and APNU have 8 seats. We won 3 of the 7 constituencies. That is a major inroad. Major inroad in a stronghold of APNU. In Mabaruma, we have 12 of the 14 seats. In the past, we had 8 of 12. So Mabaruma now, we've increased another tongue. We have increased our support there too. In Georgetown, now, I wish to go through the results in great detail so you can understand the major changes in the cities. So far, we have won in the city 5 of the 15 constituencies, up from 3 in 2018. We have 1 constituency now where only 4 votes separate us, and they have 154 rejected ballots, spoiled ballots there. We have requested a recount there. This is constituency 6. It's part of Cummins Lodge and part Sophia. So we won outright 5 constituencies of the 15. In another one, where just 4 votes the difference between us, and we've requested a recount in that area because of the large numbers of spoiled votes. So in 2018, the PPP got 6,813 votes in Georgetown. In these elections, we got 12,256 votes, nearly doubling our votes in Georgetown. So that is major by any standard when you can increase your votes so significantly. So we've increased our votes by nearly 6,000 in the city. Now, to understand this, first of all, where did we increase our votes? Where did we increase our votes? Was it just in the traditional areas in like North Georgetown? Or did we make inroads into other areas in the city? So in Kingston area, constituency 1 and 2, the vote increase was about 500 in in Kingston constituency and the Kitty one, about 400. In constituency 4, again, we increase our votes. That's one we won now, by 421 votes. In constituency 5, which is the heart of Sophia, we increase our votes by 528. More people voted PPP. In Charlestown, Alboystown, this is 10, we increase our votes by 473 votes. That's Malcolm there. And I want to thank him for the work he did. In constituency 12, we increase, I think it's Patricia Chase Green there. We increase our votes by 528. This is Tuckville, North Rumvelt. In East Rumvelt and West Rumvelt, we increase our votes by 468 persons. These are sizable numbers. That means nearly, and it's evenly spread, not just in North Georgetown, but across Georgetown, if you look at the results. So nearly double the amount of people who voted PPP in 2018 voted for us in these local government elections, and from many areas that were garrison areas for APNU, where tiny numbers of votes we got. Some areas, 20 votes, 30 votes, that sort of thing. So this is like a definition of a wipeout in your base. This is definition of massive victory in your stronghold. The fact that they're going around and say, oh, we won all of these areas, this is the reality of it here. So I hope that they will never go through this sort of thing with you, because they're hoping to drown out the massive success that the PPP has had in the city by clouding up with the rhetoric and the noise and the lies. And so when you go through this, then you will really see the phenomenal inroad that we've made in this city and in South Georgetown. And I want to thank the candidates in those areas too, who were vilified, who were harassed. Especially the new candidates who came to us from constituency 13 and 10 and 12, they were harassed. But the vote tells the story. These are nearly 6,000 voters more in the city, placed their X next to the cup. This is in APNU, and many in APNU strongholds, including in the Sophia area. That is definition of success in the city. In Linden, we had APNU's vote increase, but the PPP's vote moved from 402 votes in Linden in 2018 to 2,464, over 500% increase in Linden, from 402 to 2,464. Now, to give you a picture of this number here in Linden, or increase alone, is more than all the votes ANO got at the last elections for the whole country. That is only in the township in Linden that the increase in number of voters who voted PPP. So you can jump around Solomon Sharma and the others and wave and say, oh, it's a wipeout and a blowout, the nonsense. That's the number you have to look at. A 500% increase, over 500% increase. These are not small numbers. 2,000 voters more is a significant amount of vote. And that is what happened in Linden. 512% increase in the area. The same thing happened in Kwakwani. In Kwakwani, this was a significant number increase. Actually, in Kwakwani, the difference is small. We won two PR seats. We increased our votes there by over 200% in Kwakwani too. I don't want to go through all of the areas, but significant increases, over 200 votes there. I think I gave you the Bartica figures to New Amsterdam. So that the earlier period. It was in Bartica, we won again the majority of the votes. In 2018, APNU got 1,443 votes earlier. The PPP, 1,144, APNU 1,443, and AFC 470. So when you combine APNU and AFC, they got 1,913 votes, and we got 1,144. The difference was they got 769 votes more than us in 2018. In these elections, APNU fell from 1,913 to 1,601, and the PPP increased from 1,147 voters to 1,784 voters, which is over 600 persons or so more voted for the PPP in a tiny community, in a small community. Isn't that a major change? That's the definition of change. People rejected APNU in Bartica. As I said before, we won the popular vote in Madhya too. So these are just some of the numbers that we have that would show in every one of the PPP controlled traditional areas, that is the towns, we won and won bigger. In the number of towns, the 5 that APNU control, we now won 2 of those with the popular vote, and most likely because of the popular vote, although they're tied with seat allocations, we will win those 2. And then in the 3 remaining areas in Georgetown, New Amsterdam, and Linden, we also made significant inroads. We increased our votes significantly in all of these areas. In New Amsterdam, by over 1,000 votes, in Linden, by over 2,000 votes, and in Georgetown, by nearly 6,000 votes more. If you add all three, that's about 9,000 votes more in these three areas. That's more than a seat at the national level. That is the reality that they will try to hide from the country. So let me tell you, we have a few requests for recount now in. We've sent in a few requests for a few areas, and we expect those will be pursued soon. One is, as I mentioned, constituency 6 in the city, where a 4 votes difference separate us for one of the constituencies. In Pletanka, Cottbrat, in Berbice, there is a 5 votes difference between one of the constituencies that APNU currently has that area, but the presiding officer mistakenly gave tendered ballots to a number of people in that area. So these were legitimate voters and they should have gotten a regular ballot. Tendered ballots are not counted. And then there are a couple of issues, like lower rate. There are 2 boxes there that we have asked for a recount on, because in that constituency we lost by a single vote in one constituency there, but not we won the overall area, but in a constituency we lost by a single vote. And in Myconia Bari, there's something similar. But that would not change much the results. It's just, if we've succeeded in Pletanka, Cottbrat, it will change a whole NDC. So instead of 14, APNU will go down to 13, and we will move up to 67. But the others will not change much the number of local government bodies. So that's something we have had significant success in these elections. As you can see, I hope that people across the country will not listen to the Kool-Aid party. So let's talk about campaigning and the negative campaigning. On the day of the election itself, we saw some of the vilest campaign waged by arms of the APNU, the Village Voice. Village Voice was there posting all day long, vote for Crum Ewing, subliminal racist messages. This is clearly associated with APNU, and I hope that the ERC will investigate this, because if they don't, then they'll be not fulfilling their mandate. All day long, the Village Voice, which we know is an arm of the APNU, was putting out these racist messages throughout the day. If you go back, they may rush to remove them now, but we already have them recorded. Tons of messages, all racist, throughout the day. Racist, trying to drive fear into people. Then they had a lot of the same social media activists that we've come to know who spread rumors. Some of them have emerged out of the woodwork and all day long start spreading the rumors again in the city, especially to people in the city, targeting them, saying, oh, with the PPP will remove the vendors need to come out now. Oh, the PPP plans to take away your property in Georgetown. In constituency 10, they were telling the people that we plan to build the boulevard there to take away their houses and sell it off to big businessmen. Lies all day long. So they were targeting people with racist messages throughout the day. And you know what? In spite of all of that, they failed miserably to stop the red wave, because the wave was real. You saw the evidence of the red wave across the country. They failed to stop it. No matter what they say tonight, they're licking their wounds and hiding basically. And shamelessly going to claim victory. Imagine, I can't imagine for anything in the world how you would claim victory when you're barely holding off another party in your stronghold, and a party has made so much inroads into people in terms of voters who voted for you traditionally and who have defied, breached all the campaign, defied the campaign of intimidation and racism to vote in a manner that is national. This is, I don't imagine, and that's why I'm taking, it's got to be a special breed, and the people most who I can't understand most are the ones who actually listen to this and believe it. That's why I say it's like Kool-Aid. I saw Granger came out the last minute and say, oh, the Kool-Aid party, the PPP. That's why I'm using the Kool-Aid word, because Granger came out and he was urging people. They rolled out the fossils and the not so fossilized. Everyone came out in the last minute. They're all running around in panic, spreading rumors, lying, meeting the vendors, running into people's homes, doing all sorts of things. Christopher Jones in Plum Park, everywhere, Barber Chair, everywhere in the city. The guy who the deputy mayor lost his seat to. The deputy mayor lost his seat in constituency 4 in Georgetown to our candidate. I remember he was criticizing me. Well, the people consigned him to the dustbin, the people who live in that part of Georgetown. So you wouldn't hear a lot about that. A lot of them have been consigned into the dustbin. So listen to the village voice now. Visibly shaking, Bharrat Jagdeo declares victory in local government election. I was visibly shaken with laughter, not visibly shaken. That's it. Now, delay in release of local government results raises concerns about Ghana's electoral process. This is from the PNC. Imagine a party that held the country to a 5-month delay. We just had the polls closed less than 24 hours ago. And this will raise concern about Ghana's electoral process because of the delay in LGE results. It's only shameless people, shameless, real trench capos. Basically, I want to use the word because that's what they use for us. I'm not calling them trench capos, but they call us trench capos all the time. So we'll put out this sort of thing. This is, imagine you just came out 2025 long months we waited, we suffered. We had to go to court, we had to do all sorts of things. And you're talking less than 12 hours after the close of poll. The election process is flawed because we delayed the results. This is the kind of thing. PPP failed attempt to wipe out opposition. APNU supporters encouraged. Now the APNU supporters encouraged, nobody is encouraged because they are not even encouraged. Within their camp, they have a major fallout now. And you're going to see, Norton will see the hyenas come after him now. They already started. They've been yapping at his feet, waiting there for these results. And now they're going to come after him. But they're not much better than he is. And so the PPP failed to wipe out opposition. We didn't go to wipe out opposition. They're wiping themselves out by lying to people and because of their incompetence and useless performance. And listen to their specialists, the men who tackle UG funds, Mahi Paul, who was like caught with his finger in the Treasury, UG Treasury. Listen to it. A comparative analysis of 2016, 2018, and 2023 results, considering various variables and the advantage of being in government with greater financial and other resources compared to previous years, clearly demonstrates that the PPP suffered a resounding defeat in the local government elections. Are these people for real? And this is a member of parliament, Mahi Paul. We suffer a resounding defeat in the local government elections. Just 166 out of the 80 areas contested. They couldn't even contest in 25. And then of the rest, the 55 that they contested in, they practically lost most of them. And we had and even in their strongholds, we've had inroads, and we suffered a resounding defeat. If that's the case, how come we won 50-something in 2018 of the NDCs, or the local government areas? We won 50-something and we were out in opposition. And we only built on that now. From the 2018, now we've grown even bigger. We won more in the local government bodies, and we won larger number of votes in all APNU strongholds. That is how, if you want to look at progression from 2016, 2018, and 2023. We had three seats in the city in 2016. We grew to 7 seats in the city in 2018, and now we'll go maybe 10 or more seats in 2023. We're going. We may be, depending on how that outcome comes, we could be just 2 seats or 3 seats short of a majority in the city if the recon goes well. And that one. So that's progression. That's growth. And this is what you hear from them all the time. You'll see them go and sit and talk a lot of nonsense. I'm not going to go much longer because we'd have much more to say when the final results are declared by GCOM. These are the preliminary results that we've had, but a lot have already been declared, and so you can get the final declaration in many of these areas. I thought I'd share this with you early, but we'd still await the final results. But whatever has happened, you have the facts for yourself. Any sane person would conclude that this has been a wipeout, this has been a landslide for the PPP on any single parameter or metric that you measure victory on, except in the APNU's metric, which is a warped one. The excuses that they make. So I'm going to end here. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Right? No, not 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. Yeah, those are one. And then 6, we're having the recounted.
And total how many areas have the
Recount, I said to you four areas, and I gave you the areas. It's the one constituency in Georgetown, Pletanka, Cutbrat area in Berbice, Lauritree, 2 boxes there, and Myconia Barry. And those should be completed today, hopefully.
in Berbice, you mentioned the number of tender ballots or mistakenly given out. Even if a recount is done, what is done with those tenders? Is there any possibilities for them to be included given that they were?
Well, it's up to GCOM to decide that, because these are real voters. These were real voters, and the presiding officer make the mistake. So in the recount process, that will be discussed. We have to check the laws, but we wanted to prove that point there, because we believe that all of the people on the tendered ballots, they voted PPP.
What do we know about how that situation came about? And is there any speculation that
It could be a genuine mistake. I'm not saying that the presiding officer did something deliberate. It just happened. It shouldn't have happened. There were no tendered ballots. No tender ballots should have been issued, because all of them were real voters who had been verified. So I'm not going to go into that and run down the PO, because I don't know. But this is an issue that will be discussed today. So I don't want to speculate about issues. I just gave you the facts and why we requested. This would have to go through the process, and the law would be applied. If the law says nothing could be done, we'd have to live with it. We'd have to live with that, and that means APNU will keep or win that that LA, which will be the 14 that I said before. That's why I said APNU 114 right now. If we succeed, they will come down to 13 of the 80 in Guyana. 13 of, or 14 of 80. Please remember that number. 14 of 80. When you ask Norton, when they speak 14 of 80, and you're claiming victory, and then in your strongholds again, you got practically a wipeout. Almost every one of the other areas, we won more votes. Every single one of the others, from Kwakwani to Linden to New Amsterdam to Georgetown, we won double, triple, increase our votes 5 times in these areas. Where is your victory? Where is your victory? What did you win? Yes, our SOPs are available for anyone. We don't have missing SOPs like APNU. I wonder if they will release these now, SOPs, because you know they have a funny way with SOPs. So ours would be available. We didn't upload them onto our website because I think there's very little controversy surrounding these elections and the SOPs, and we didn't upload them. But if people want to see the SOPs, we can make these available. We can have a room downstairs and people can request to see them at Freedom House, and we make them available to anyone who wants to see these SOPs from around the country. We have absolutely nothing to hide.
What has been coming from GCOM in terms of how soon they will start making declarations? The press has been
Oh, they have made several declarations, and they have given those declarations to the party agents. We have from many areas the final results with the declarations signed by the RO and everyone else, and the presiding officers, and handed over to our agents with seat allocations and everything there.
Has GCOM said anything about how soon they'll get, aside from giving those results to the party? How soon they'll give maybe those results?
You would need to ask Jigom that, right? But I would answer for all what the party does. Yes, anyone else?
Jagdeo, could you break down that 66 and 80 at the constituency level?
No, it's too early for that because we still need to verify that. So, as I said, we already had won 291 of the constituencies in the country. So when we have to add now the additional thing. So of the 610, we could end up nearing maybe 500. Could be about 500 of the 610 constituencies across the country. But don't quote me on that as yet because we have not calculated it. And please, on the New Amsterdam thing, the number was, it's just 1,000 votes. We'll make the numbers. It was my mistake. I gave you the particular numbers.
Are you at all disappointed though? You had planned to make inroads and outcomes on constituencies. You significant, is it significant enough for you, or are you satisfied with the inroads you've made?
What do you think? You don't know? All right, yes. Well, I'm very, very, very pleased. And for all of those, like I see some of the Demerara Wave story every single time, carrying up news views, and oh, they claim that the PPP has discriminated against. It's a shameless. I read some of the stories over the week. When will the media houses stop saying that they always talk about race and the PPP when APNU is the only racist party, and you've seen the support of the PPP? We have 2,000 odd votes in the heart of Linden, not Region 10. In the past, we used to get votes, a lot of the Amerindian votes in 10. This is in the heart of 10. In the city, in South Georgetown, we have demonstrated large numbers. Not just you. I'm not coming off on you. No, I'm not talking about you, Marcel, but I'm peeved because the snidings, APNU claims this. For Christ's sake, you're the media. Why do you have to repeat? Don't you have a mind of your own like the Demerara Waves? Say that this is what they claim, but proven false. Do you have to repeat the claim? If someone says this man is a goat, do you have to write he's a goat all the time when you know he's not a goat? You have to brain. And they keep every time, oh, the PPP something. APNU has sold this lie so long about racists. This is the only racist party, and we have demonstrated it. At the end, they had to go back to race on election day. They had to go back, and in a vile way. I read the stories. People are carrying wholesalely, like the bilge that they talked last night, nonsense that they talked last night, without even questioning it. They were lying to people, and when you lie to the media in any part of the world, you'd say, this guy has been lying because the numbers belie what the story that they're saying. Sometimes we don't even do that. Anyone worth his salt, and that is why it's become like a mouthpiece. Every time I see the lies being portrayed with an unquestioning way. So that is what I believe as General Secretary, it's a great result. It's a great result. And I said before the elections, you know what, if we had gotten half of the inroads that we made into the city, I would have been satisfied. Because it would be still the biggest thing that ever happened in the history of this country. And we've made a massive inroad. So you can imagine how pleased I am, and also how happy many of our candidates would have been. Of course, like lots of them in the campaign, we would have loved to win the city outright. But the reality, and that's why I said, every time I spoke, I said it's a huge task. It's like APNU going into, say, one of an area, right? Like Corriverton, and winning all of these areas. Like Curveton, not a single seat APNU could win there, except with a dead man. That's it. Can you understand the historic significance of this? What we have proven to this country, not the PPP, not in an arrogant way, but the people of this country, including the campaigners, those who are Afro-Guyanese campaigners who put their X next to the cup, and the supporters, tens of thousands of them voted for the PPP in this country. More Afro-Guyanese than all the small party votes together, and they claim they're multi-ethnic. They claim they're multi-ethnic. We are the only multiracial party in this country, and we're proud of it. Proud of it. Extremely proud of it. And it's only going to grow from now, because once people come to this family, they then see we're all about Guyana. We're all about Guyana. Not like APNU. So we're happy. From tomorrow, we start the work even harder than the campaign. From tomorrow, we're out on the road working even harder than we worked before to change this. We made a commitment to destroy this racism. And in this goal, we took a big chunk out of the racism from APNU thing. People rejected that. Large numbers of people in the city, in their stronghold, rejected the lies and the rumors and racist messages that they carried until election day. Vile. They have some of these social media commentators all day long trying to urge people go out to vote. The PPP is going to take care of things. They had to recruit all of them. That's how desperate they were, to recruit even the vilest social media so-called influencers and put them on their campaign to try to get people out in the city. And still, they got wiped out in some of the constituencies. Wiped out in one, they got wiped out from a massive margin in the past to win for the PPP. The same thing in 4. From the deputy mayor losing his seat to a PPP candidate. He was one of their shock troops.
Have you an approximate percentage turnout?
I'm not going to estimate that as yet, but we're, it should be between 30 to 40% range. Yes, please. No, what incident?
He was trying to go to the polling station, but he and Chico staff were
Oh, I didn't see that. I've been like busy all night. We were going through the numbers, talking to the staff, and then I just been trying to see that we can get as accurate a picture to you as possible, even without the declared results available as yet, knowing they would come out. So I can give a comment later once I've looked at what it's about. So I'm not aware of that. But we had some issues in the evening. Let me just make it clear. We had an issue in the evening where a lot of the candidates, because we have candidates, we have people who are accredited by GCOM, different people going around. And there was one issue where the chief elections officer, he sent a circular around saying that 3 persons from any political party can witness the count. That is the counting agent, the candidate to the poll, and the candidate to the counter, something like that. 3 persons. And then a lot of the presiding officers were refusing. They said only 1 could go. And so there are many areas. I remember Anil Nandalal had that problem in Melanie, and then the observers themselves called to complain that they were told they don't have space, they couldn't go in to some of the polling places because of the space requirement. But that issue, so at about 6 to 7, there was a little set of problems surrounding that. Not for most of the country, mainly in Region 4. And then, and parts of 3. I think Del Amstel was one of those areas too, Del Amstel, and then it got resolved because GCOM took charge and they got it resolved and the right people went in. And so this could have been something like that, a dispute over that issue, because they were I know they had it at Del Amstel, they had it at Melanie with Anil, they had a little bit of this at Mucka Arcadia, some at Pleasance a bit, but then it all got resolved in these areas. And they just were not following the circular that was sent out.
In terms of Pleasance industry, I want to say that the PPP is claiming winning that area. Can you shed some light on that?
So we're right now, yes, because they claim a win, the seat would be tied, and we have the majority of the votes. So if we follow the Vulcan formula, where the minister makes the decision, and the minister makes the decision historically, like that situation happened in 2016, and the minister said they will have the chairmanship of the council. So that situation is the same. So it's one of the 4 areas that I mentioned that are tied. Remember I said 66, but the PPP, but 62 outright, 4 are tied, but we expect to get the chairmanship of these 4 tied areas because we have the majority of the votes. So we don't come and declare like that wildly and stuff like that. That's one thing you'll get from the PPP. We look through the numbers first. But sometimes you can have genuine, like, the numbers are not tabulated right and stuff, but that's genuine. But it's a rare occurrence. They go out to deliberately mislead. By the way, both Norton and I voted in that area. And Norton claimed victory. He said, I'm going to win in this area and stuff like that. Well, I voted in the same LAA as Norton, and we're going to win that area now. So, Mr. Norton, bad luck, bro. Yes, please.
Mr. Jagdeo, you made mention about the inroads. You gave a breakdown based on preliminary results, but how do you see this translate to the general election?
So we don't make predictions, but we'll win with a landslide. So although I don't make predictions, but we'll win with a landslide in 2025. Don't listen to the nonsense. They always say, oh, we're winning 2025. How are you going to win? You're going to get rid of your track record. You're going to try to mobilize people in a changing country where people are fed up with this racism and they just want their families to move on, their children to grow up in a multi-ethnic society that is, fulfilling all its promises. You're talking about lying to people, giving them the Kool-Aid and racism. How are you going to win? You have a growing minority now of voters, some in all the parties who would be hardcore. That will be, no matter what you say to those people, they will not change their vote, no matter if the facts stare them in the face. But that's a dwindling number. More and more people on all the parties there's a growing majority, all sides. PPP, APNU, everywhere, people of every race who want you to account for your stewardship. They want you to focus on things that matter to them. So that group that they are hoping to excite, through the last campaign, which operates purely on the basis of race, that's a dwindling group in this country. And you can't build an election victory around that group. You have to, in this country, change and work for all the people. And they can't do that. How are they going to do that? How are they going to do that? So I anticipate a big victory for the PPP in 2025, but we are not an arrogant party. We will work towards it. People will see us. We continue to fulfill our promises. We continue to fulfill our promises that we made in the past, that we are making now in the local government elections. We continue to do that, work in every community in this country for people. And we hope that the numbers that started now, people who have come to us, that number will grow. And I see it started small, it's growing, and it will become an avalanche. I don't know, that the Congress will decide that. And I don't know about that as yet. After our Congress, I'll decide that. What do you think? Should I? Yes, I want you to know, right? No. So, yeah, please.
The PPP is hoping to take a majority seat in Georgetown. You noted that your party won maybe.
No. We are realistic people. We campaign to win every time. So yeah, we want you to win here and in Linden, etc. But we recognize, we're not APNU, we recognize how steep the climb is. And we did a great job in scaling the steepest part. We did a great of this big mountain. And we did a great, and we scaled the steepest cliff with a lot of people pulling against us, using the old messages of racism and intimidation. And the candidates move forward, the people walk the ground, people of every race. When you see them wearing the red and walking the seawall, working together, Afro-Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, mixed people, Amerindians, Portuguese people, all with under one banner, with a red short. It made people proud that is the campaign we wage. That is where we are going. So that's what we have proven. Even more than anything else, all the numbers are great, but more than anything else, we prove that we are the party of the future. Yeah, sure. Well, the thing is that we're hopeful of a better relationship, but I know APNU. And you're going to see they go in there and they'll get right back to the same old method. This is APNU. Imagine some of the councillors, a man like, what's the one from Constituency 6, Mr. Trench Crapo, who said call the PPP Trench Crapo? Some Heinz. Can you imagine a guy like that bringing anything positive or changing his behavior? He was there before. He never visited the people in the area not once. But we got 500 odd votes more in that area, maybe because of his non-performance. And now what could he do differently this time? Well, I'm not holding my breath. The council in Linden, can you imagine them working for people there? They've always lived off. The RDC and the town council, they've lived off the revenue in a very lucrative way. They expense almost everything, their personal expenses, the entertainment expenses. So that's why they were campaigning with such vigor, not for the people, for their own well-being. And I don't expect that to change. I don't expect that to change in these areas. But we will try to forge a better relationship. And if they don't, we'll work directly with the communities. We'll work directly because people deserve changes in their communities regardless of these people. Yeah, go on. Yes, we plan to change the city regardless of that. It becomes harder with the humbug that we inevitably get from a PNC APNU-dominated city council. It will enormously affect us. You think Solomon Sharma and all of these others care anything, or Deron Adams and these waste the time people up there, that they care anything about people there? They lie to them all the time. But do you think we should punish the people of Linden because of their waste leaders? You think we should punish them? No. 2,000 of them more placed their trust in the PPP and voted than in the last elections. They deserve to see that we fulfill our promise, and we will fulfill. And the others will see that too. The others will see that. And wherever else, every corner of this country, whether we promise in Portmorant or Corriverton or Rose Hall or Monrepo or West Coast Bobbies, anywhere else, or Region 3 or 2, all of our promises will be rolled out. We are rolling this out. Some areas we can't do because we promised to live stream city council meetings if we're in control. So they may never agree to live stream city council meetings. But those things we can't fulfill because we're not in control there. But definitely on the infrastructure side and bringing help to and relief to the residents of the city, then we will do those things. Thank you. Thank you very much.